This this is Brother Jamal coming to you again with a another video here on my YouTube channel, and just an important message I just want to send out to the black community. And excuse me for putting it like this, but I have to put it like that. This message is extremely important to the black community. And I don't care where you are located at. Small town, big town, medium-sized town, large town, it doesn't make any difference, because still there's this naive way of thinking that we still have. And I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of. This period that we're living in now, it reminds me of 1950, 1955, 1960, 1965, 1970. That's what this period reminds me of. Because black people were so naive to the time and what was going on. You know, now you may say, well, that was during the civil rights time and all that protest and more. Yes, you got it right. Yes, it was. Let me step back and say to you, as we always open up and do, this video is specifically about the importance of safety. Normally, the set of videos that we do is usually maintaining justice. This is about safety as it relates to the black community, and almost like a state of emergency that the black community is in, because the law enforcement is not protecting the black community. When you call 911 or call law enforcement, you take a chance on getting beat to death, getting shot, getting tased, dog put on you, ate to death by a K9 dog. Any of those things may happen when you call them for help. So you can almost declare a state of emergency in the black community. This is the way things are. This is the way things have moved to that direction, just like it was in 1950. The same thing. The same exact way in 1960, 1965. The same thing. But look, as we realize, as I look back on that time and look at this time now, so much of the stuff that our parents did at that time and instructed us on safety, we was wondering why they was doing that, because we didn't see, it wasn't that we didn't see the importance of it. I guess we didn't see the need, and we didn't think it was that serious. But now when I look back on that period, I realize how serious it was. And I realized even then, we realized how serious it was. Like, for instance, our parents told us, by nightfall, regardless of where you was at, friend's house, if we were practicing football or baseball or basketball, that was different, because the school was close by, so most of us got rides, or we got home, or the coaches or whatever gave us rides. So that was cool. But beyond that, when nightfall come, most of my friends, all of us, we had to be in front of the house. And it wasn't that we couldn't go nowhere, but it was to do with safety. Because what would happen, the night riders, the white supremacist groups, the white citizen council, they would ride around trying to catch black people anywhere they could. Didn't make no difference if it was a man, woman, male, female, child, teenagers, didn't make no difference. As long as they were black, they would try to catch them, to kill them. That was it. Everybody knew that. They would try to catch them, to do harm to them, and most time it was to kill them. Take them out and lynch them, take them out and hang them, take them out and throw gasoline on their body, set them on fire, just leave them there. That was that. And so when our parents instructed us to be home by sundown, later on we understood what that meant, because things were happening. And it was a dreadful time, just like it is today's time. My point for bringing this is that we seem to think that we're living in a normal time, normal situation. No, this is not. And as a community, as family members, we need to talk to each other about safety, y'all. I don't know what's so hard and no difficulty. No women, not even men, should be out at nighttime just driving around or going a long ride by themselves. That's safety precaution, y'all. And we seem to think, that we have a right. We do. We have that right. But you got to be smart and wise in the time period we're living in now. You got to be smart and wise and think. Yes, you do have a right. You do have the freedom. Yes, you do. But at the same time, you better be smart and wise enough. If you got to travel somewhere, I don't care if you're going 100 miles. I don't care if you're going 50 miles. You ought to try to travel during the daytime. Get where you're going during the daytime. Try to get as far down the highway as you can during the daylight hours. To travel at nighttime. Because I hear people sometimes talking about jumping up, taking a trip and going this place like they can just drive across the country by themselves or with their girlfriends or with... Don't you know how insane that is in the day and time we're living in? See, that's insane because there are people out here to do harm to black people. Get that. Do harm to black people. See, maybe other people too, yes. Black and brown and yellow people, poor people, but especially to black people. And I see so many cases where black men go off on these places with their white friends, and what end up happening? They end up turning on them, getting once they get some liquor in them, once they get high, all of a sudden they want to lynch somebody, and you know who the suspect is usually somebody black. You see these black girls going off on these weekend trips with their white friends and whatever, they end up killing them. See, they end up turning people that they thought was friends, they end up turning on them. Your friends, if they're really your friends, they ain't gonna turn on you. No matter how much they drink, how much they smoke, they're not gonna turn on you if they're true to your friends. But this is what we see happening. So I'm saying, today's time, black women need to stop jumping in these cars thinking that you can drive off and just go somewhere 50 miles or 100 miles, wherever. If you're gonna go during the daylight hours. Stop doing this night traveling, thinking that you have just to go where you want. Because I'm telling you, you can do that, but you take a big risk, you take a big chance of somebody kidnapping you, somebody snatching you up, somebody killing you. That's the chance that you take. To prove what? See, that you can go up down the highway, that you don't need no man, that you're a woman. Stop thinking that crazy thing. That crazy thinking like that. Because that crazy thinking like that will get you killed. It'll get you to lose your life. That's what will happen. And we seem, for some reason, we have not got this yet. I still see incidents and situations where black women are going places by themselves up and down the highway. And what are you thinking about? Unless you are trained in karate, black belt, unless you are trained to carry a weapon and you know how to defend yourself, then you run up down the highway or jumping in the car thinking you can go across the country. You can do it, but trust me, you may not make it. And sometimes people will go places, don't tell nobody where they going. Ain't nobody trying to get in nobody's business. Safety-wise, y'all thinking safety. Letting somebody know where you're going. Letting somebody know where you're traveling to. Taking somebody with you sometime. You know, don't jump off and always got to go by yourself. Because I'm telling you, once again, the day and time that we are living in, we need to think safety. In the black community, we need to think safety. See? Sisters, you can be out clubbing, going to different places, drinking, all that stuff. I'm telling you something. When you do those kind of things, you put your life at risk. You put your life in jeopardy. Whoever's with you, same thing. See, everybody's life in jeopardy. Like I said, unless you're a black belt in karate, unless you got a permit to carry, you know, and you know how to use a weapon, self-defense, you know how to do those things, then otherwise, I'm telling you, you're vulnerable. You're going to be vulnerable. That's it. And so I'm trying to figure out, why is it so hard for us to understand this? With as many black men and black women that's disappearing, just disappearing daily. I'm seeing the numbers almost increase. This black woman, the male woman in Chicago, don't you know that sister been missing for a minute or two? I mean, she been missing for a while. I just saw a picture come up on Facebook, I think it was yesterday. She been missing for a minute or two. And so you see more women, you see more men, things are happening. And there is some wicked people out here to do harm to black people, to do harm to kids, you know, to do harm to babies. There's some sick people out here, y'all. And you have to be thinking wise and smart in the day and time that we live in. I'll say this again. This is a time to think safety, wise and smart. It's not about you being able to do what you want to do, go where you want. Yeah, you can do all of that. But let me tell you something. You traveling at nighttime, you are taking a risk, a big chance. Now, if it's worth you going out, it's worth you traveling up down the highway, and you want to take a chance, you want to take a risk, or you think somehow that nothing won't happen to you. See, some people be thinking that sometimes. You don't know who could be following you. See, you don't know who could be trailing you. You got to stop for gas. You got to stop to use the bathroom. You got to stop for different things. So you don't know what kind of wicked people may be at those places and may be following you. And a lot of time when they see women by themselves, see, they follow them. They could call somebody down the road or something and tell them, give them your license plate number, anything. Tell them what kind of car you got. Especially a black woman. See, I don't know and in family members, you need to talk to women about traveling by themselves. Daytime is one thing, y'all. But once the sun goes down, you jumping up to my going 50 miles, to my going 100 miles, even if it's a short distance. I'm saying you need to think precaution. You need to think safety. You need to think wise. I'll say it again. The time that we're living in is a serious, serious time. It's no different than 1950. And you got people that's among us, wicked, evil people, to do harm to black people. It could be a black child. It could be a black woman, a black man, a black teenager. They don't care to do harm to black people. And I'm not just talking about doing harm. I'm talking about doing harm like taking their life. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of harm I'm talking about. See, we don't think, I guess we think because we live in America, well, this wouldn't happen. Well, you better get rid of that mindset. You better get rid of that idea, because it's happening every day. You see where black men and black women, black teenagers, black girls are missing. You see it happening all the time. So that's my point. But I just wanted to bring you this message.